Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna everyone. So today we have Her Grace Surabhi Mataji. She is a direct disciple of Srila Prabhupada. She was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in 1971. So Mataji was born and grew up in Australia. She visited ISKCON temple in Australia a couple of times. Later Mataji traveled to Amsterdam, Europe, where Mataji had got to serve in the local temple. Those days Matajis were allowed to stay in the temple. So Mataji moved to the temple, and within 3 months of time, she started chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and followed all the regulative principles. The Amsterdam temple president, he was quite happy and recommended Mataji for initiation. So later on, Mataji, she traveled to London and she got initiation from Srila Prabhupada. This was in 1971. So since then, Mataji, she has got into cooking services and did many other services as well for ISKCON. Later on, Mataji moved to Australia and she currently resides there. She has 5 children and 9 grandchildren. She has been spending most of her time traveling all over India and across the world preaching Krishna consciousness. So on behalf of ISKCON Chennai, we would like to welcome Mataji with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, we request everyone to come closer. So please come closer, we can hear her.
Hare Krishna everyone. Nice to see you all today. How many of you are coming the first time? One? You ask them. How many are coming the first time? Come on.
Hare Krishna, Mataji is asking how many of us are here for the first time in ISKCON?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6, 7, 8. Please, will you come closer?
Requesting all devotees to come closer.
Please don't be afraid. I'm your grandma. Who's translating? Are you You don't translate? Who's translating? Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. One minute. Please come in closer. One minute. We're just trying to get a translator. How many of you can understand English? Look, so many. I can speak in English. So should I speak in English? You will understand everything? If there's anything you can't understand, we'll get someone to translate it for you. Okay? Very good. Did you learn it at school? English? You learned at school? Right? Yeah? Did you learn it at your job? Yes? Wonderful. Because English is one of the most strongest languages of the world. Practically every country you go, people are speaking English. Some. There's a few that cannot understand, so therefore we do the translation. And there's one of our temples, when they give class, they have a group Hindi there, they have a group Telugu there, they have a group Bengali there, and the Russian one over there, and they've all got the earphones, and they're hearing the class in English, and someone's translating it to the group in the different languages. Isn't it right? Yes. You see that? So, but I'm very proud of you that you are learning English. It's very nice. Well, I've come all the way from Australia just to meet you all. They can understand English, but if they can't understand, they'll put their hand up, and then you can translate. Is that correct? I'm going to speak in English, and if there's something you cannot understand, put your hand up, and Mataji will translate. Okay? Good. That makes it easier. Now, I've come from Australia a long way, and I'm 74 years old, and I'm grandma to you all. And I just came here to meet you. Come here to meet you all and get to know you. I love people. One time I was at our farm in Australia, and one of our Maharajas was there, and the temple president. And he said, Surabhi, come here. And I said, yes. He said, would you like to be the Pujari? And before I could say anything, Maharaj said, no. Surabhi's a people person. She loves people. And it's really true. It actually says it in my astrology. I had my astrology done maybe 10 years ago, but I was packing up all my things, and I was sitting on a box, and I found it. And I sat there and I read the whole lot. And that's exactly what it said. Is this lady, she goes on a bus, she goes on a train, she goes on a plane, and she goes on a tram. She'll talk to the lady next to her, the boy next to her, the man next to her, and by the end of the journey, she'll have made friends. And they've taken their phone numbers, and they meet up again. So I love meeting people. And today Krishna has sent all you wonderful people for me to meet and talk to. And that makes me very happy. Yes. So, how many of you know my spiritual master or know of him? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. How many of you know him? Heard him? Read his books? How many have read his books? Oh, so many. There's a few who haven't. So today, I want you all to take home a book and get to know who this wonderful personality is. There's one, his life story. You want to get some books? Prabhupada, his life story. And we've got a very nice one for the ladies. It's called The Teachings of Queen Kunti. And this is all about Queen Kunti. Ladies, you would love it. I read it all the time. And for the men, I think Prabhu, Ishopanishad would be good for the men. Yeah. We have one book, it's called Sri Ishopanishad. And I love it. I love reading that book. So, please, so that you can get to know who Srila Prabhupada is, the one who started this Hare Krishna movement. Could you imagine when you are 70 years old going on a ship to a country that you've never been to? Prabhupada, all about him. So, question, could you imagine going on a ship from India to the other side of the world in the US when you were 70 years old? Do you think you could do that? Never been on a ship, never been out of the country? But my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, was asked by his spiritual master to go to the West and to teach this Krishna consciousness to the English-speaking language. But you know why he left India? Because India was more interested in enjoying in the Western culture. And when Prabhupada would come and he would give them a magazine, they would say, "No, thank you, go away." You'd say, "No, thank you, go away," right? And so he realized what his spiritual master was asking him to do, to go to this Western world, English-speaking world, and to spread Krishna consciousness. And when he got to America, he was there for 1 year by himself. He didn't know anyone. He didn't really have a permanent place to live. And even it was difficult to get his food because they're not used to this food. But after 1 year, Krishna sent him some lovely young men, many men, and a few ladies. And he taught them how to sing this wonderful mantra. You know it? Hare Krishna, all together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But the Indian people are going, "I don't want to hear that. I've heard that before." But in America, they thought, this sounds really nice, right? And they liked this Swami dressed in the saffron clothes. Prabhupada was so amazing. He never took off his saffron clothes. He never changed into Western clothes. Even though some Swamis that were in America already, they were saying, "Oh, you must wear pants and jacket and tie." And Prabhupada said, "No way. I am going to dress just like I dressed at home, just like my spiritual master asked me to." Amazing, isn't it? Wasn't he an amazing person to do that? Would you go to America and dress like Prabhu? Would you? No. You'll say, "Oh, I have to wear what the Americans are wearing," right? But Prabhupada, he never put these clothes on. And they said to him, "You have to eat with a knife and fork. No, never. He would make his prasada himself, offer it to Krishna, put it on his plate, and eat with his hands or eat with a spoon. Never he touched a knife and fork. And he remained following those principles. Do you know our principles? Does anyone know our principles? Ask them.
உங்களுக்கு 4 கட்டுப்பாட்டு விதிகள் என்னென்னு தெரியுமா?
No one knows?
He's telling association marriage.
No.
He's telling association.
We have 4 main principles. Actually, we have 5. But 4?
Huh? We should not eat non-veg.
Yes, exactly. Anyone else?
No illicit sex.
Anyone else? Mataji, do you know we have 4 regulated principles? And Prabhuji said, no eating non-veg, right? No meat, no chicken, no eggs, and no fish. So what's the next one?
No gambling. She's telling
No
Sudha
gambling. No gambling. No wasting your money. No gambling. Another one? The third one?
She's telling charity. Charity. Charity.
Oh, no, that's not one. No meat eating, no gambling. What's next?
No intoxication.
No intoxication. No drugs. No alcohol. No cigarettes. Isn't it? Pure. Pure life. And there's one more left.
No illicit sex.
No illicit sex. No relationships outside of marriage. Yes. And I always add this last one. And it's never forget Krishna. And always remember Krishna and never forget him. So our Srila Prabhupada, that's what he did. He went to the West, and in no short of time, all these young people, they became attracted to him because he always dressed in the robes, and he used to give classes. Mukunda Maharaj, he was one of the first people to come to the classes, and he told his friends, and his friends started coming, and in no short of time, there was quite a few people joining him. But Prabhupada was able just to get a room, and he was sharing this loft with one young man that seemed to be interested. But then that young man started to take drugs. And then one night he became crazy, and he had a knife in his hand. And Srila Prabhupada quickly grabbed some things, and he left there. And he came and knocked on the door of some young people that he'd met, and they let him stay there. And then they went back, he went back to get some of his things, and they'd even stolen them. But then Mukunda Maharaj and I think Hari Griva was there, and Kittananda maybe. Anyway, there was a few of them. They said, we're going to find Swamiji, that's what they called him, Prabhupada. We're going to find him somewhere to live. So they all went looking all over the place. And they came to this place, and it was called 26 2nd Avenue. And there was a sign in the window for rent. So they went in there and had a look, and they had downstairs a nice room with a bathroom. And they all together said, "This looks very good. What do you think, Prabhupada?" And he said, "Yes, it'll be nice." And then he said, "And Prabhupada, we have to get something where you live." And the man said, "Upstairs is a little apartment." And so they went up and had a look. And they said, "Prabhupada, what do you think about this?" And he said, "Yes, very comfortable." So they got this apartment and the hall, and the devotees, they paid for the first month's rent, $200, and he moved in. And then after that, because Prabhupada bought from here, when he went on the ship, the Jaladuta, over the seas to America, he had 3 boxes of books, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so he was selling his books. The first person he sold one to in America was the captain of the ship. And he said to Prabhupada, "How much should it cost?" And Prabhupada said, $18. And the captain gave him $20. So that was his first sale in America, right? And so Prabhupada started his movement in that humble room upstairs and in the lovely hall. After some time, the young people, they said, "Srila Prabhupada, we don't have anywhere to live." And they were chanting already. And Prabhupada said to them, "Are you following the 4 regulated principles?" And he get them to tell them. And they said, "Yes." And he said, "Are you chanting every day?" And they said, "Yes." And he said, "If you're following these principles and you're chanting every day and you're serious, you may come and stay." They didn't have any beds in that room. It was the temple during the day. It was the mattress on the floor during the night. And at first, these young people, they were a bit scattered. They'd been taking drugs, drinking, whatever. They had that lifestyle before. They actually didn't have so much brain left, right? And after some time, Prabhupada would cook for them. He would clean for them. He would wash their clothes, right? Everything. And even after he'd done all that, he used to wash all the pots, wash all the dishes. And then one day, one boy came to visit him. And he said, "Seeing Prabhupada doing all these things." And he said, "Oh, Swamiji, can I help you?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "You see, there's pots over there. You can wash them for me." And he said, "And after you do that, you can go downstairs and you can sweep the floor and wash it." And so from doing that, the young man went downstairs and he said, "Swamiji's cleaning up everything for you. And you aren't helping him? I think it's about time you started helping him." So then after that, they'd wash the floor. After they packed up their bedding, sweep the floor, wash the floor, and they clean up the dishes. He taught one of my god brothers to cook, and he cooked every day for all of them. And then Prabhupada didn't have to do all those things, because Prabhupada was getting past 70 then. And then all of those young people were only like in their early 20s or even younger. They began to realize. And Prabhupada said, "Yes, this is devotional service." And so every morning and evening, Prabhupada would come down and he would give a class, kirtan, and he'd give a talk. And one day when he came down, the devotees had decorated all the temples, because a couple of the devotees had been to India before they met Prabhupada, and they had all these pictures, and so they decided to decorate the temple, and they put pictures up of Satguru, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Ram and Lord Krishna in the three different forms. So it had 6 arms. Put that up, had a picture of Radha and Krishna, had a picture of Hanuman, a picture of Narada Muni, many pictures of the devotees and Lord Chaitanya. And then they got a large cloth and they put it over the chair, and they built a platform, just a little platform, not like this, probably more lower, and they made that for Prabhupada. And when he came down, Prabhupada went, "Oh, now you are making lots of advancement. This is called devotional service." And they had a table like this. Prabhupada loved to have a table. Even in his room, he had a table and he was always translating. In the early morning, before anyone got up, he was translating his books. And so he said, "Oh, now you are making lots of advancement." And so the 22nd Avenue became very beautiful. And the people from outside, they used to come and stare in the window to see what was going on. And they said, "Oh, look how they made it so nice. Maybe we should go in there and see what's happening." Then people started coming. And one day, the devotee said to Prabhupada, "Why don't we go to the park and sing Hare Krishna?" And so they all gathered together. They had the drum, they had the cymbals, they had the tambourine, they had the, what do they call it, the round thing, and it's got the little bells in it. Yes, wampus. Oh, wampus weren't there yet. But any kind of instrument they could find, then they would bring it. And they would say, "Prabhupada, can we play this? Can we play that?" They even had a flute. Right? And Prabhupada said, yes. And so they went to the park and they made a nice chair for Prabhupada, and he sat down and they started chanting, and then they got up and they started dancing. And so you see that film? There's very nice films. If you want to know about Prabhupada and what happened before, that this movement became so big, then you watch these films, and they're all chanting around, and they're all singing. They've still got their hair, and some of them look a bit weird, but they did it. And then one day, this young girl came, and she was an artist. Her name was Jadharani, and she could draw really nicely. And Prabhupada said to her, "You come to my room every day, and you can come and you can draw and you can paint." And that's how our first artist's work came in the Hare Krishna movement. And some of those art are still in our books, the original Krishna book. And one day the devotee said, "Prabhupada, we want to make better pictures than what's in the Krishna." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "They are beautiful." But others would see it in a different light. But he said, "No, we will keep it as it is," because they were beautiful. And still to this day, we're still printing those original books. Yes. So that was the beginning. And people were coming every day and chanting with us. If you can get some films, what we've got films to tell you and show you how Hare Krishna movement started. And it's amazing watching those films. I still watch them. Yeah? Yes, all of these films, I still watch them. They're so amazing. And then you can find out about this wonderful personality that gave his life in the last few years of his life, from 1975 to 1977, he gave to dedicating his life to doing what his spiritual master wanted. And that's how the Hare Krishna movement started. And Prabhupada, he was such a sweet, loving person. He taught us all those things. He taught us to eat vegetarian food, live a healthy lifestyle, no gambling, no intoxication, no relationships outside of a marriage. If some devotees would come as a couple, he would say, I'm initiating you today, and tomorrow you're going to get married. And they've been living together for a few years. And Mukunda Maharaj and his wife, Janaki, he married them. And my god sister, Jamuna Mataji, she came from up the top there, on the other side of Oregon. She came from Oregon to be at her sister's wedding. And he said, in the Indian tradition, the family comes and cooks for the bride and for her husband. So he said, you are the only family, Jamuna, so you must come in and cook with me. And that's how Jamuna Mataji learned how to cook. And when she tells the story, and Prabhupada would say to her, can you do this? You're going to make some flour, puri dough. And she'd touch her hair. Please go and wash your hands. Then she go, can I have a drink of water? Yes. And go out. Please go and wash your hands. And he was repeatedly, through the whole time she was there, yes, wash your hands. Yes, wash your hands. Yes, wash your hands. And I know myself, because I'm a cook. I've been a cook for 53 years, and I wash my hands about 100 times when I'm cooking. So, cleanliness, in the English-speaking world, cleanliness is next to godliness. But Prabhupada said, cleanliness is godliness. Is godliness. So if you see any papers anywhere, the temple president can't come out there every day and pick up the papers. We're all a family. So when you see a mess, clean it. You don't need to go to the temple president or the temple commander and ask for a service. There's actually hundreds of services just outside this temple door, isn't it? So, and if we see this as our temple, our home, we will want to keep it clean. Is that not right? And so Prabhupada, he took these scatterbrained people and he made them into human beings again, thinking, intelligent human beings. That's what Prabhupada made us, right? And he taught us how to be clean. We weren't clean. We used to wear the same clothes for 3 or 4 days. Even your underwear. Some of them never had a bath for a week. But my mother, she taught me that you have to change your clothes every day. So she was a pious lady. Maybe she was a devotee in her last life. Maybe she's seen Lord Chaitanya's Harinam going past. Because we do not know who our parents are. that they have a daughter who's a devotee of Krishna, they have a son who's a devotee of Krishna. They don't understand, but actually God's working. And it says at the end of their lives, if the son or daughter gets liberated, then 10 generations before and 10 generations after get liberated. Are you understanding? You following? Yes? So we are very, very fortunate, and we have been picked up out of the dust and given this wonderful lifestyle. Who loves being a devotee? How many of you love being a devotee? Right? We want this whole room to put their hands up and say they love being a devotee. Right? Because when I got initiated by Srila Prabhupada, he said, your name is Surabhi Devi Dasi, the name of the transcendental cow, the giver of abundance of milk. And then he said, because I was young, I was only 21 and a half, and I got initiated after 2 months. And I was sitting there in front of Prabhupada looking at him, and he said, don't be afraid. He said, if you follow this process, you'll go back home, back to Godhead at the end of your life. Right? Follow this process. And it's wonderful. I've been here for 53 years. If it's not wonderful, I wouldn't be here. Huh? And the food, oh, prasadam. Isn't it? Would you be here if there was no prasadam? You would? You're lying to me. None of you would be here if you didn't have this wonderful prasadam. Prabhupada said that. If it wasn't for prasadam, you would not be here. Right? Do you love prasadam? Yes, I thought so. I could tell by that smile on your face. Do you love prasadam? Oh, look at that smile. And Mataji and Prabhu, and look at that smile. So everyone loves prasadam, right? And just by eating prasadam, if it's cooked with love, and you eat that prasadam, you'll go back home, back to Godhead at the end of your life. So when you're cooking for Krishna, you've got to be very conscious. You're not thinking, oh, I want to taste this at the end. Who are you cooking for? Are you cooking for Krishna or are you cooking for you? No. We cook with love. We don't try it before. We cook with the consciousness. Right? I am cooking for Krishna. And it'll turn out delicious. It'll turn out very delicious. And every time you cook, after it's offered to Krishna, you should take a taste of every preparation that you've made. And you judge yourself. You say, Surabhi, that was okay, but that wasn't very good. I used to be the cook and the manager of Govinda's in Australia. And then the next day I'd cook, I'd say, Surabhi, that was wonderful. And that way, you learn how to become a very good cook, right? So you must try that. You cook with consciousness and you cook with love, and you'll taste it in the food. Yeah? If someone cooks something and puts too much salt in there, do you think that's cooked with love? No. And all the devotees are going, ugh, that was terrible. But if you cook and you're sitting there and you've made a feast for 500 devotees and you're sitting there and you're You are satisfied to watching all the devotees eating. And then they come over to you and they say, "That was delicious." Then you know that Krishna liked that cooking. And that's what we've got to come to. We've got to come to that all the devotees are so happy with what we've cooked that they've got big smiles on their faces, and that you know that Krishna's satisfied. Isn't it? So that's the way we should cook. And Krishna doesn't like oil. Prabhupada told us oil is for the outside and ghee is for the inside. So we cook with ghee for Krishna. Some devotees say, "Oh, it's too expensive." You know why it's too expensive? Because you're using too much. Right? If you put this much, only this much in the bottom of the pot, you can cook for 100 people. The most delicious. You don't need to cook with all this oil and terrible stuff. And all the devotees will be happy, and all the devotees will be healthy. Right? Because we want the devotees to be healthy. Because Prabhupada said, first of all, health. First of all, health. Because if you don't have a health, then you can't cook for Krishna. Sometimes you can't even chant Hare Krishna. Right? So first of all, health. And the way to remain healthy is to be conscious. And you eat what is good for your body, what is good for your health. Back in the old days, everyone used to eat and eat and eat and eat. It was all cooked in ghee, wonderful halava and everything like that. But Prabhupada taught us, he said, simple during the week and feast on Sunday. Not everyday feast, just Sunday feast. During the week, simple, right? Then you'll remain healthy. And a lot of my God brothers and sisters that used to eat so much, especially the boys, they all have bad health now. Some of them go to the hospital, have to take Ayurvedic medicine, like me. But if you're conscious, you'll live to 100. Wouldn't it be nice? We can live to 100 and still go out there and chant Hare Krishna on the street. And if you can't serve Krishna. If you can't give your service, you give your words. If you can't give your words, then you give your, first of all, you give your life. And if you can't give your life, then you give your service. And if you can't give your service, you give your, what was it? Your voice, your words, right? And if you can't give your words, then you give your money. Right? The third one was money. You give your money. And if you can't give your money, you give your words. Right? So all of us could do something. Even if you're lying in the bed, right? You can give your words, right? If you've got lots of money, you can give that to Krishna. And if you haven't got any money, then you give your service. And if you can't give your service, then you sing and go out on Harinam, isn't it? There's so many things you can do. And so actually you can engage everything in your life in Krishna service. And at the end of the life, because you've been eating all this wonderful prasadam, And every time you eat it, you go, oh, Krishna, that prasadam was so nice. And then all of a sudden you fall down and you die. So where are you going? Where are you going at the end of your life? Back to Godhead, right? So you lead your life like that. Everything you do to remember Krishna. Even when you trip over on the road, what do you say? Oh, Bhaga? No. You go, oh, Krishna. And then Krishna helps you, isn't it? No? Like that. Everything you do, try to do it to help you remember Krishna. Right? If you hurt your toe, you go, oh, Krishna, that toe hurts. But you know Krishna's going to help me because you called his name. Just like Queen Kunti, no, Draupadi. When those naughty boys on the other side were hanging onto her sari and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it and pulling it. And she's going, oh, oh, oh. And then all of a sudden she put her hands up and she went, Krishna. And then she had unlimited sari. Not only 6 meters, unlimited sari. And what happened to them? They all fell on the ground like that, right? But because they were so naughty to do what they did to Draupadi, and they were laughing before she lost her sari. They were going like this, right? Showing their teeth, laughing. So what happened? When the war started on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when they died, the thigh, shot the arrow into the thigh, and then they died, right? All the things that they did when they were dishonoring Draupadi, that's how they ended. So you have to be very careful. And Krishna loves the women, and Krishna loves the children. Krishna sees every woman as his mother, every woman as his daughter, every child as his child, his baby, right? So you remember Krishna. You see the little animals, you see the little cockroaches. You go, oh, dirty cockroach, and go bang, bang, bang. No, this is Krishna's children. You don't touch them, or else you have to come back in your next life, and what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Huh? What's going to happen? What's going to happen in your next life? You're going to be the cockroach that gets bang, 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 right? So be very careful. Don't kill anything. Understand that every living entity is Krishna's child. So you don't want to come to a sticky end. You want to become to a good end, and you want to remember Krishna at the end of your life. So this wonderful person, he's given us the most valuable gift. This most valuable gift. This most valuable gift, right? I've been reading them for 53 years, right? And I'm always smiling. And I know at the end of this life, I'm going to go back home to Krishna. Because Prabhupada told us that he's going to come and meet us and take us by the hand and introduce us to Krishna. Do you have a doubt? Does anyone have a doubt that that won't happen? Huh? I'll tell you a story. If you ever weren't convinced, this will convince you. If you ever weren't convinced, this will convince you. Prabhupada's disciples, they asked him, Prabhupada, when we're going to leave this world, will you be there? And he said, yes. And my godbrother, he got very sick. And he was about to die. And the nurse, he thought he died. Then all of a sudden, he sat up. And he said, Prabhupada, 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 you have come, you have come, you have come. Right? So you've got to believe it. You be serious. This movement is wonderful. It can be joy every day just by following this process. It's not hard. Do you find it hard? 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 Mataji in the green sari. Do you find it hard following this process? If you believe in Prabhupada and everything Prabhupada tells us is absolute truth, if you believe in him and you follow the process, you are going back home, back to Godhead at the end of your life. You know? You know? You know? Another one? Another few. Right. So, I know. Who will come and buy one of these books for me? How much? ₹200. 200 rupees. To perfect your life. 40 rupees to perfect your life. ₹80. If you would like to come and get a book and give us what we need to print another book, we're not going to go out and drink some beer. We just want to print another book, right? Then I will write something in that book for you. Okay? Come on. Stand up. Come here. Get a book. I will write something in that book for you. I want all of you to come up.
ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா. மாதாஜி கையால் இப்போ வந்து பார்த்திங்கன்னா பிரபுபாத் புக் சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, ஈஷோ உபனிஷத், அதுக்கடுத்து குந்தி மகாராணியினுடைய டீச்சிங்ஸ். ஸோ இந்த புக்ஸ் வந்து நீங்கள் மாதாஜி கையாலேயே வாங்கிக்கலாம். அவங்க உங்களுக்கு சைன் போட்டு கொடுப்பாங்க. ஸோ இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்கிற டிவோட்டீஸ் ப்ளீஸ் கம்.
I want you all to come. Come on, don't be shy. Come on. 40 rupees is not even one ice cream. Which one?
எந்த புக் வேணும் நானுக்கு?
Critical. I'm just going to sign because there's too many people.
Hola.